Here is an itemized take a gander at 20 of the most extravagant presidents, lords, and heads of the state ever, alongside certain bits of knowledge into their professions. 1. Mansa Musa. 1280-1337. Total assets. Assessed more than $400 billion. Adapted to expansion. Mansa Musa, the 10th sovereign of the Mali realm, is many times thought about the most affluent person ever. His abundance was generally gotten from Mali's huge creation of gold, which was the wellspring of the greater part of the world's inventory at that point. He extended the domain fundamentally, overcoming 24 urban communities, and laid out Mali as a significant center for Islamic culture and schooling. His well-known journey to Mecca in 1324 exhibited his tremendous abundance, as he conveyed gold en route, affecting the economies of districts he went through. Musa's rule is associated with advancing Islamic grant and building conspicuous organizations, like the College of Timbuktu, making Mali a middle for information and culture in Africa. 2. Augustus Caesar. 63 BC 14 promotion. Total assets. Assessed more than $4.6 trillion. Adapted to expansion. Augustus, the organizer behind the Roman domain, was Rome's most memorable ruler and managed from 27 BC until his passing in 14 promotion. As sovereign, he controlled tremendous privately invested money that came from state depositories, vanquished lands, and different enterprises across the domain, like agribusiness and mining. Augustus' initiative changed Rome from a republic into a dictatorial domain, guaranteeing strength following quite a while of nationwide conflicts. His rule, known as the Pax Romana, was described by relative harmony, social accomplishments, and infrastructural enhancements like streets, water systems, and amazing engineering. 3. Lord Solomon. Circa 990-931 BCE. Total assets. Assessed more than $2.2 trillion. Adapted to expansion, the scriptural Lord Solomon is acclaimed for his insight and riches. His wealth were to a great extent got from exchange, recognitions, and an exceptionally prosperous realm. As the leader of the realm of Israel, he extended exchange organizations and fabricated the primary sanctuary Jerusalem, a critical strict and social image for Judaism. His authority encouraged a brilliant age in Israel, known for writing, exchange, and design projects. Solomon's abundance was amazing, with accounts of his fortunes rousing different records of gigantic wealth his wise decisions actually referred to now. 4. Tsar Nicholas II. 1868-1918. Total assets. Assessed more than $300 billion. Adapted to expansion, Tsar Nicholas II was the last head of Russia, administering from 1894 until his relinquishment in 1917, during the Russian upheaval. His privately invested money included huge domains, castles, and interests in ventures. In spite of this enormous riches, Nicholas's rule was set apart by critical difficulties, remembering military losses for the Russo-Japanese conflict and the Second Great War, social distress, and monetary hardships. His failure to resolve these issues successfully prompted the ruin of the Romanov administration and the ascent of the Soviet Association. 5. Andrew Carnegie. 1835-1919. Total assets. Assessed $310 billion. Adapted to expansion. Carnegie, a Scottish-American industrialist, drove the extension of the American steel industry in the late 19th 100 years, making him perhaps of the most extravagant man ever. Albeit not a ruler or president, his riches and generous exercises fundamentally influenced worldwide strategy and culture. Carnegie sold his steel organization to J.P. Morgan for $480 million out of 1901, making him one of the most affluent people at that point. In the wake of resigning, he gave quite a bit of his fortune to magnanimous undertakings, subsidizing libraries, training, and harmony drives. 6. William the Victor. 1028-1087. Total assets. Assessed $230 billion. Adapted to expansion. William, Duke of Normandy, became Lord of Britain in 1066 subsequent to overcoming ruler Harold II at the Clash of Hastings. His reign laid out Norman rule in Britain, with critical social, and political changes. William's abundance came from the crown jewels of victory and the rearrangement of terrains to his Norman devotees. The Domesday Book, charged by William, nitty-gritty the abundance of his realm and filled in as a record of his property. His standard reshaped English society, design, and regulation, leaving an enduring inheritance. 7. Muammar Gaddafi. 1942-2011. Total assets. Assessed more than $200 billion. Gaddafi, the accepted head of Libya from 1969 to 2011, collected immense abundance through Libya's oil holds. His abundance remembered ventures for different areas around the world. Gaddafi's system was known for its dubious approaches and denials of basic liberties. Regardless of the oil riches, financial disparity and joblessness persevered in Libya. His standard finished during the Bedouin Spring, prompting a nationwide conflict and his demise. 8. Henry Portage. 1863-1947. Total assets. Assessed $200 billion. Adapted to expansion. Portage was an American industrialist who established the Passage Engine Organization and altered transportation and assembly. However, not a head of express, his riches and impact were significant to such an extent that he assumed a critical part in molding U.S. industry and financial approaches. Portage presented large-scale manufacturing methods, bringing down the expense of autos and making them available to the typical American. His progress in business permitted him to put resources into different ventures and charitable undertakings, affecting numerous parts of American life. 9. Cornelius Vanderbilt. 1794-1877. Total assets. Assessed $185 billion. Adapted to expansion. An American industrialist who created his financial stability in rail lines and transportation, Vanderbilt was among the richest people of his time. He assumed a critical part in extending the transportation framework of the U.S., which was fundamental for the country's monetary development. His abundance was packed in his rail realm, which he extended forcefully. However, not a ruler or president, Vanderbilt's financial impact was sweeping. 10. Henry VIII. 1491-1547. Total assets. Assessed $250 billion. Adapted to expansion. Lord of Britain from 1509 to 1547. Henry VIII is known for his 6 relationships and his part in the detachment of the Congregation of Britain from the Roman Catholic Church. His abundance came from the disintegration of religious communities, which moved huge measures of chapel property to the crown. This collection of abundance permitted him to finance his tactical missions and extravagant way of life. His rule fundamentally affected English culture and strict works on, making him perhaps of history's most compelling lord. 11. John D. Rockefeller. 1839-1937. Total assets. Assessed $340 billion. Adapted to expansion. Rockefeller was an American oil industry big shot and altruist. Albeit not a political pioneer, his abundance was vital for the point that it molded the U.S. economy and worldwide oil markets. His organization, Standard Oil, ruled the oil business and was one of the world's first and biggest global enterprises. His abundance empowered monstrous altruistic endeavors, including the establishing of the College of Chicago and the Rockefeller establishment. 12. Kim Jong-un. 1984 present. Total assets. Assessed $5 billion. The ongoing incomparable head of North Korea, Kim Jong-un's abundance is attached to state assets, including extravagance products and ventures abroad. The Decision family is infamous for its lavish way of life notwithstanding North Korea's broad neediness. Under Kim's administration, the nation has kept up with its severe dictator system and sought after atomic weapons advancement, prompting huge global approvals. 13. Fidel Castro. 1926-2016. Total assets. assessed $900 million. The long-term Cuban pioneer dealt with the country in 1959 in the wake of driving an upset against the Batista system. Castro's abundance to a great extent got from state assets. While he executed communist approaches that rearranged abundance and planned to work on friendly government assistance, he likewise gathered privately invested money. His system was known for its basic freedoms, infringement and concealment of political resistance. 14. Hosni Mubarak. 1928-2020. Total assets. Assessed $70 billion. The leader of Egypt from 1981 to 2011. Mubarak amassed significant abundance through his long-term visit in power. Defilement was uncontrolled, subject to his authority, with claims of siphoning public assets for individual advancement. His system was known for its dictatorial administration and was at last ousted during the Middle Eastern Spring. 15. Ruler Abdullah Container Abdulaziz Al Saud. 1924-2015. Total assets. Assessed $18 billion. Lord Abdullah managed Saudi Arabia from 2005 until his demise in 2015. His abundance came from the country's huge oil sales, which subsidized a rich way of life and worldwide speculations. He was viewed as a reformer in certain areas, executing careful social changes and financial modernization endeavors. In any case, the realm actually confronted huge analysis for its basic freedoms record under his administration. 16. Ruler Salman Canister Abdulaziz Al Saud. 1935-present. Total assets. Assessed $18 billion. The ongoing ruler of Saudi Arabia. Salman's abundance is gotten from the country's oil riches. He had a huge impact in the realm's administration and modernization endeavors, including the Vision 2030 program, which expects to expand the economy. His residency has seen expanded strains in the area, outstandingly with Iran and the contention in Yemen. 17. Ruler Hassan al-Bolkiah. 1946-present. Total assets. Assessed $28 billion. The ruler of Brunei, Hassan al-Bolkiah, has governed the little, oil-rich Southeast Asian country starting around 1967. His abundance is generally attached to Brunei's broad petrol and flammable gas holds. He is known for his lavish way of life, claiming one of the world's biggest vehicle assortments and a few castles. His standard is portrayed by a mix of outright government with Islamic customs. 18. Sovereign Elizabeth II. 1926-2022. Total assets. Assessed $500 million. Individual. As the longest-serving English ruler, Elizabeth's privately invested money came from a mix of acquired resources, like domains, and exclusive ventures. While a large part of the illustrious family's abundance is held in trust for the country, the sovereign had individual resources, including homes like Balmoral and Sandringham. Her rule traversed 70 years, making her a huge figure in English and worldwide history. 19. Lord Willem Alexander of the Netherlands. 1967-present. Total assets. Assessed $48 million. Individual. The ongoing Lord of the Netherlands has a critical individual fortune got from speculations and illustrious resources. In spite of the fact that he assumes a generally formal part in the nation's administration, the Dutch imperial family keeps up with significant impact and riches. 20. Sheikh Mohammed Container Rashid Al Maktoum. 1949-present. Total assets. Assessed $14 billion. The leader of Dubai and state head of the unified Middle Eastern Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed, has supervised Dubai's change into a significant worldwide city and business center point. His abundance is attached to interests in land, the travel industry, and different enterprises, and he is known for aggressive activities like the Burj Khalifa and Palm Jumeirah. These pioneers, whether rulers, sovereigns, or powerful industrialists, lastingly affect their separate nations and the world. Their riches, frequently amassed through a mix of regular assets, modern endeavors, or key political influence, has molded history in significant ways.